Hey all, this is South Detroit Soundhouse. My name is Randy Falsetta, and today we have with us the incredibly talented Steve Lukather and David Paich from Toto. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, it's nice to be here with you, Rand.
It's fantastic to have you guys here. Before we start out talking about all things Toto, I really do want to give some voice to the ALS awareness.
Thank you.
The sensation that's gone around the internet with the Ice Bucket Challenge, and we know it's near and dear to your hearts.
It's truly remarkable how this thing came out of nowhere, sparked by somebody who has the disease. It's been affecting our family for almost 9 years now. Mike Picaro, our brother, has been incapacitated due to this horrible thing. And I have another friend, Jason Becker, who's a famous metal guitar player, who was in David Lee Roth's band. He's suffered for 22 some odd years or something. Sweet man, and all this stuff is just, it's a most horrible disease because you lose your ability to move and your muscles kind of deteriorate, but your brain is still as frosty as it ever was.
Right.
So it's really a prison like no other, and we want to try to help bring awareness and money to the research of it. I mean, as Steve Picaro, who's in our band as well, his brother Mike is the one who's suffering, and he was the bass player in our band. Yeah. And since we were all kids.
Yeah, it's hard to detect too because the symptoms mimic other medical conditions. So hopefully this year it's going to shed some light on it, put it on the radar for everybody to really appreciate everything.
Yeah, it's insane the amount of money that this has generated, and the people that have, the really famous people that have jumped on this. I mean, you have people like Steven Spielberg, and all walks of life, not just musicians, and it's raised. I hear a lot. The last count we heard that was legit was over 50 million, and now we're hearing much larger numbers. And whereas people, I've heard there's criticisms. Well, they're going to use animals to test things. Well, they use animals to test shampoo. You know what I mean? I'm a big animal peace and love guy too. But at the same time, when ALS is a death sentence, I guarantee you anybody that has this disease would line up and take whatever test there is, not to harm any animals in the process. But that's not the case of what's going on here. I'm sure the people that are researching, the doctors that, this is sending out a negative message about something so positive. We need to cure any disease like cancer or any child disease. We all have children. We don't want your kids or anybody. Any neurological diseases and stuff like that. My youngest son is autistic, so these are things that happen to everybody's home. Every family has someone who has MS. All the neurological diseases. And ALS is certainly one of the worst ones. Yeah. So this is a really good thing, and we really hope and pray that they can find a cure or at least make some headway.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah. Is there like a spirit in the band that's kind of missing with Mike not being present on tour?
Sure, there would be, but
absolutely. But we try and carry that with his music, and if Mike's spirit is there on stage every night, because we're listening to parts that he played, and we all were friends, grew up with Mike and everything. So he's with us every day on stage that we play here. But he's truly missed physically on stage. Absolutely,
he was one of the most gifted musicians, and a soul brother.
Yeah, exactly.
It's family with us, and we weren't working together for a while. And he brought us back together initially to
4 summers ago
to help the family, and we've been brothers. Yeah. Jesus, I spend more time with these guys than I do with my own flesh and blood. So it's we don't run away when a brother's down.
Right.
Certainly not. And we've had our fair share of loss, and it's every day you wake up and we're lucky enough to feel good. It's a good day.
We're so fortunate, and it's great to see all of our musician colleagues rallying around us with us. There's people, in Motley Crue and people in Chicago and everything.
Yeah, everybody's called us out. We did the challenge on stage,
right?
And then we were in Chicago, and we were playing the theater there, and it was a big deal. Michael McDonald joined us for the challenge, and he's also a dear old childhood friend, and the union there almost didn't let us do it all because all the electrical in this theater was underneath the stage and water dripped through, so we had to make a big deal. Some people were pissed off. You didn't get wet enough. It's like, well, we got ice enough. It's an ice challenge.
Other people said we were wasting water, so we made sure we had these little doughboy pools on stage, so not a drop would be spilled.
Yeah, it's really funny. You try to do something nice, and no matter what you do anywhere, somebody will find a negative aspect to it. So, I mean, you know, you got to forget about all that because it's a positive thing in the bigger picture. You know, people waste more taking a shower. You know what I mean? So come on. We're trying to help people all around the world who have this debilitating disease. And it seems to me that neurological diseases are way on the rise and I asked my own doctor, my pediatrician, I said, what's up? And, you know, I'm not going to say any names, and but he says it's very environmental. The food that we eat, the air that we breathe, all the chemicals and everything. I mean, here we are a generation or so later of all this, you know, various things that are in our food and shot into our food and innocently eaten and they're ingested. And now we're going, oh, well, maybe that wasn't so good for you. And it's manifesting itself in ways, because you don't get ALS from a toilet seat. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get this disease? Is it genetic? Is it passed down? Anything, any of these diseases. You know, when we were kids, you didn't hear about Lou Gehrig. That was so rare. But now there's people saying, well, Lou didn't have, there's various versions of ALS, you know. And I'm not a doctor, so I should shut up. But this is why we need research, you know, to help this whole, to broad stroke all neurological disease, but ALS in particular, because it's the most brutal.
Yeah, well, I hope we've given it some
well, thank you.
today, and we wish.
And saying that, you know, Mike still has a sense of humor. God bless him. So, as do the people, Jason Becker, who can't even speak anymore, but he's able to communicate in other ways, and to have a sense of humor about that.
Thank you for sharing this on your program. It's really important to us.
We want to make it number one.
I hope they continue to do it like they do in the football, American football. They do with the breast cancer. You know, they have in October, and everybody wears pink and everything. So I hope the passion continues.
Well, Dave likes to wear pink most of the time anyway. Like your hero right here.
Well, anyway, we're here at Caesars, and you're here tonight with the great Michael McDonald as well.
We are.
And it's just an absolute pleasure for Windsor to have you and myself to be talking to you today. And we just had Steely Dan here a week ago.
Oh, great.
I think it was pretty much bang on a week ago. And is it true that back in 1974, I believe, Katie Lyde was your first musical relationship with Michael McDonald?
Actually, no. Before that, I did Living on the Fault Line with him. And then came after that was Pretzel Logic and Katie Lyde.
No, Fault Line was later.
That was 78.
It was after, because
I thought Fault Line was 78.
But Katie Lyde was 74. I was still in high school.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that was.
Dave, he's getting a little older now.
I am. I'm having a senior moment here. Yeah.
No, because I remember we were.
That's right.
It had to have been 74.
Yeah.
You know, and we were like in high school, like we wanted to be Steely Dan. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, Jeff Porcaro was the drummer in Steely, and you played on the records. So Jeff was going on the road with them. And we saw the Pretzel Logic tour with Jeff, the first one Jeff did when we were all in school. Because these guys were already our heroes, because he's a couple of years older than me. And and then when he produced and co-wrote Boz Scaggs' Silk Degrees record, these guys were already in it, and then we kind of jumped on that tour afterwards.
Mike was getting very busy doing sessions at the time, and we even scouted him to be a lead singer, and I called him 4 days after he had signed with the Doobie Brothers. We missed it by this much. So now having him come on stage with us and sing here is like, it's kind of a pinch me moment. It's like a dream come true. Yeah. The whole band, everybody's singing on stage, and there's Mike singing with Luke.
Well, how did the pairing come about? How did Toto and Michael McDonald come together?
We did it once before.
Yeah, we've always talked about trying to do something with him, you know, because it was just kind of a natural pairing here. And then we got to do it last summer here for once. It was kind of an experiment. We went out and it really worked good. You know, we got to play, and he came out, and we exchanged with him. So we thought we'd try and do it again here.
Yeah,
it's a big thrill for us.
You know, plus, you know, we've also, you know, he was on The Family Guy. We were on The Family Guy.
I heard.
I absolutely love this stuff. I mean, we laugh so hard at this stuff. A South Park character. I mean, and I'm sitting here watching the shows anyway.
You don't mind getting poked at?
Oh no. All of this stuff, Shreds, Yacht Rock, I mean, all this stuff is hilarious to us.
We actually get jealous because you see him get poked at on Fallon, and we got poked at on Fallon, and it was like, yeah, we finally made it to big time.
You know what I mean? We keep going back and forth. So, you know, we figure, well, why don't we just join up and make it, well, you know, and embrace it, you know what I mean? Believe me, we have a great sense of humor about ourselves. Yeah. I mean, people thought because we were studio players and, you know, we studied music, all of a sudden, you know, we have to wear a suit and tie, and we can't laugh at ourselves. I mean, that's why I love the movie Amadeus. You know, you see Mozart as this. He was like, well, that was me. You know, what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, those guys are the rock stars of their time. We've survived. We're almost 40 years in now, 42 if you count high school.
Yeah, sure.
And so, like, you know, come on, we're survivors. You know, if you can't take a punch, you're in the wrong business.
Well, David, this question's directed to you.
Yes.
When you look out into the crowd these days, it being 2014 and not late 1970s, you see like a multi-generational crowd out there.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel today when you see those kinds of crowds?
It's such a thrill. We're so blessed and so lucky to have crowds, people that have been fans for years, and yet they're bringing their kids and nieces and nephews. So we have new fans out there, and it's truly the real satisfying reward for doing all this, is to see people coming of all ages, which is what music.
Yeah, we never knew. We thought, man, if we got 10 years in it. I mean, the Beatles from start to finish was 8 years, man. Get into the fact that was 8 years from, Love Me Do to Abbey Road.
How much they did.
And the cultural impact, Exactly. And because I work with Ringo sometimes, and he said it was 8 years of my life.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to his life than that. He's done a lot of things since then, but it's such a huge, change the world moment. When's the next band's going to change the world? Have we gotten to the point where we were so blasé about it, like nothing mattered? It's like, whatever,
A lot of us got into it because of the Beatles.
This is exactly why we got into it.
When we talk to our fans out there, realizing they tell us it was like our music has been the soundtrack to their life, and they name their kids after our songs. They get married to our songs. It's just real satisfying.
Oh, it would be for sure. For any musician.
Yeah.
It's been a blast, man. It's been a great run, and we're still having fun with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't do it because we all do other stuff as well. But there's something that always brings us back to this little family of Toto.
There's this thing that happens because we all grew up in high school together. We used to play high school dances before we ever got to studio sessions. When we're on stage, it's actually like we've been teleported back into those days.
The Hot Tub Time Machine.
It's the most fun.
One of my favorite movies, by the way.
Now I know why the Stones keep doing it and Springsteen doing it, because it's really rejuvenating when you're on stage, Especially with Michael's thing, we get into this revival thing.
Yeah, at the end we all play together. You'll see tonight how it all works. But it keeps you. It's not like we have a job where we're playing. We can't wait to get to our pension and retire.
Why would you want to do anything?
This is like, my gosh, this is like the coolest job anybody could ever have. It's like I get to write guitar player on my, tax returns, musician. Not that many people can say that. So no matter what our naysayers may say, we still win in the end.
Yeah. Well, Steve, this question's for you.
Mm-hmm.
You had made a quote, and I read it online. So.
Oh, it must be true if you read it online. I hope it's something about 14 inches and millions of dollars. But
actually, what it's about is
both would be a lie.
Actually, what it's about, the quote was something like this: the fact that Toto is a band that really has no end, something to that extent.
So no end. Well, we're right in the middle of it. How do you predict your own demise? Right. We thought, believe me, they've been trying to kill us from day one, but we managed to laugh our way through it. And survive. We're survivors, really, and we didn't really intend that to happen. It sort of organically happened. We've taken breaks,
but
we still come back.
Yeah,
I love it when you look at me like that.
This is the moment we're having a moment right now.
Well, I don't want to interrupt.
But I just wanted to add.
It's like my big brother.
Thank you so much. I love this guy. It's like my
he lying.
That I never
he hates
had.
my guts.
I do when we get off air here.
Okay.
But music is something that's not a mandatory retirement. It's vocational. You look at people like Duke Ellington, Count Basie. You look at the classical.
B.B. King, man, look at them.
They keep going into their 80s and even in their 90s and stuff. The blues players and
man, that keeps you young. Ringo's 74 and he looks like he's 40.
Right.
You take care of yourself. Yeah, we did crazy partying when we were young, but when we get older, sleep is the new drug. You know what I mean? We hang. I love to feel good every morning. I know what it's like on the other side. And that was fun, but I don't recommend it. But you know what I mean.
So what's in the bucket list? We know there's an album possibly scheduled for spring.
March next year. It's almost done. We're really proud of it.
Spring 2015?
Yeah, the world tour to follow. But the thing that is, North America has always been a bit of an Achilles heel because we do arenas and headline festivals all over the world. And, there are certain spots, LA, New York, and stuff where we can do. But this, we're really... Since the DVD came out, Live in Poland, and entered #1 by, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
But, there's all of a sudden an interest there. There's a lot of the same 8 to 10 bands in various configurations go out every year. we're almost like somebody left us. They found us somewhere and said, "Hey, these guys, do you remember these guys?"
Right.
So we're having some fun with that, you know, and appreciate the fact that people are giving us another look in America and Canada. You know.
We haven't been overexposed to the United States for sure, so it's not like we've been oversaturated.
Leave your showering out of this.
Oh my God, he strikes again.
Is there anything else that you can chat with us about that's
what do you mean
in the future?
Oh, we got to, you know, we're making some new music that we never thought that was going to happen because it was born out of something good for once came out of litigation.
Right.
We did this DVD and then there was a fight over who owned it. And through that ownership and some mistakes made by prior management,
we found we owed another album, and instead of just throwing this album away, we thought, well, let's really get in and give it our Toto try here. And then I'm loving it, like the first album we did, like the Toto 4 album we did. Yeah. It's really going to be
the myth that like if you're over a certain age you can't create and write good music. I mean, unfortunately, you know, people. If we knew how to write a hit song every time, you could do it. Nobody knows what that is. You touch a nerve at a certain time, and the clouds and the universe goes like this, and you connect.
It really does.
You know, we worked on Thriller with Michael Jackson. So after you've sold that many records, no matter what you put out next, it's going to be a stiff.
Yeah.
You know, I only sold 15 million. It was a stiff. You know, how can you say that? You know, so I mean, we've had our roller coaster ride of ups and downs, and we've sometimes hung on by the seat of our pants, and other times we've been blessed with some great success. So, you know, it's a long ride in life. You know, it's like a football team. You can't win every game. You can't win the pennant every year.
Yeah.
But we've got a few brass rings in our closets. You know, and we we're always striving to get better. We still practice. We still care about music. We're not just phoning it in. Yeah. You know, some people do that. They Xerox their parts in every night, play the same thing every night. And they've lost their muse. They've lost their passion for it. And I think, if anything, ours is intensified just to prove the point that we're not a cliche.
Absolutely not. Yeah. The DVD, again, live in Poland, to say it was successful is an understatement. This thing went #1 in like 6
all over the world.
Right, 6 countries all over the world. Yeah. And I wanted to ask, just sort of to both of you, why do you think that DVD resonated so well with fans?
I don't know, man. I mean, it was. I mean, you always hope, but we didn't think it would come out of the box that hard.
No, I think the venue that we chose was an unusual venue. It was unpredictable. That there were a lot of people there that wanted to see us. But also, we've been touring many years in countries around the world, and all of a sudden you realize it catches up with you. You know.
Also, you know, this particular lineup, you know, bringing back the high school brothers again. We had David and I, you know, who pretty much been there the whole time. Steve Porcaro came back because that was part of the thing when we were getting together with Mike. It's like, well, in my mind, when we talked about doing this. So I said, I gotta have Steve back. We want Joseph Williams to come back because he's another undiscovered treasure that didn't go on the road and shred his voice. That's real. We're all playing stuff with the real keys, and he was a childhood friend as well. So he had a place in us, and we had multi-platinum success with him.
People
you know,
that picked up the phone and said, "How can we help Mike Porcaro?" This was all about helping Mike Porcaro, by the way.
Initially,
it was
for
supposed
sure.
to be like one summer, but then we enjoyed doing it and it became beneficial to him and us, and so we kept doing it here. But I think having a lot of us who were in the original lineup is the key.
Yeah, our original bass player David Hungate came back
now.
Awesome.
And he spent some time with Mike before, and then they had a really wonderful day together. And they're really kind of like the bass players of our band, both of them. And having David back is, you know, now I look around, I'm going, the band sounds and feels great, you know, because we certainly, you know, we've been in and out. People have come through the doors and left the doors, and most are still very close friends, and some aren't with us anymore.
Exactly.
We've lost a few brothers along the way, so we're still here. So thanks a lot to everybody for the support. You know,
it's great to have Toto, classic rock band. We need that to hang on. We need those
thank
to
you
hang
so
tight,
much.
right?
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
On another note, here's a statistics for you. Just across the river at Ford Field, which happens to hold 60,000. One Direction recently played there.
Yeah.
And they sold out 2 shows consecutively, which, if you do the math, is 120,000. And
a lot of kids out there like that.
Just my question.
My little 7-year-old daughter likes them.
Well, my question to you is, that's, you know, you guys are, I mean, stellar musicians. No one in One Direction plays an instrument proficiently, if at all. It's more of kind of an assembled band.
And they sing too.
Well, he's right.
Well, man, there's always been teen idols, man. Every generation has them. Yeah. I mean, it was when my oldest daughter was a kid, it was Hanson, and then it went on to, we certainly, we were listening to the Beatles and Hendrix and stuff, but there was also, at that time, there was Bobby Sherman and a lot of bubblegum stuff. And, so, I mean, little girls like to have a cute little boy to look up to, and, it's big business, for the management and the people that own those kids. I hope that those kids make some money at the end of the day when it's all said and done.
I also have an unsung hero who's a very close friend of mine who I write with, Julian Bonetta, who produced and wrote a lot of their songs with them on the record there. So
who knew?
He's like an unsung hero. He's like a George Martin for them,
Right.
Really.
Right.
Every generation has them. I mean, who knows? I wouldn't begrudge anybody's success. I mean, there are people that we've come up with that has been more successful or less successful. I mean, but when we see each other at a hotel or at a gig or something, it's all nothing but hugs. All of our peers, the Journey guys, and all the Foreigner, and all the people that we allegedly all that the critics all lumped us together and said that we all sound the same, which we do not sound. None of those bands that I've mentioned sound anything like each other.
We're getting surprises every day. I mean, Miley Cyrus just Instagrammed us the other day with a Toto 4 record with Africa on it.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
out of nowhere. His son is friends,
Yeah, my son's a musician. My oldest son is a musician. He knows a lot of those people. Living in California, But all the hip factor and all that stuff. As survivors, our music has survived, and we never had that image that we had. There were some unfortunate videos, of course, that thanks to the miracle of YouTube and the internet, we can't get away from. But we don't look any sillier than anybody else from the era of the MTV era. We just saw Alan Hunter, one of the original VJs. He's a friend of ours. He came to the gig the other night. So Martha Quinn was an old friend. So I mean, a lot of people we're in the game early on. Everybody knows everybody. We're all friends. We all laugh and go nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
This question's for you, David. Again, back to you.
Yes, sir.
What do you think is missing from the recording sessions of today, where
musicians?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Everything's like banned in a box in a computer. You could fix anything. You can make. It's like a joke almost. Like you could take your grandmother and turn her into a vocalist, with the proper tools and
for me, what's missing,
plugins.
What's different is, and Keith Richards said it one time, people rock today, but they don't rock and roll. You got to learn how to roll, and with that rolling to me is included is the music that I like, and a lot of people like back in the '60s, '70s, and some in the '80s, was music that was left. The intonation, it wasn't auto-tuned, it wasn't quantized, it wasn't done that. It just kind of
time corrected and all that.
Sloshed around, and a lot of it wasn't perfectly in pitch, but it wasn't offensive, So I think it's the flaws in it.
Well, here's the irony of all that. When we started out, we were like, "Oh, you slick, soulless studio musicians," but that's what we sound like, all of us sitting in a room playing.
Right.
Now everything's done one at a time, and it's so buffed out, you slip right off the chair.
Right.
I mean, everything's immediately put on the grid. Okay, that's now everybody's in time. Oh, that's a little pitchy. Okay, now it's perfect. And it makes us sound like we're a punk band or something like that when you put the records back to back. But it's just, people's ears adjust to a different era. We come up from the era where you had to play really good. If there was a good-looking guy in the band, that was a plus, but it wasn't mandatory. You know what I mean?
We're everything.
Certainly, look at us.
Everything's been processed in in a nice diet soda can here, and we're in this mason jar sloshing around, kind of with no lid on it a little bit still. So we're kind of bridging from the old days.
We're not quite sure what the liquid in the jar is, but that's a whole other story.
Well,
that's not a pickle.
It's not a pickle.
Well, Steve, back in the day, you were, I read somewhere that you were doing 25 sessions a day.
No, not a day, a week. I've done, that wasn't unheard of at the time.
2,000, you've been on 2,000.
I don't know the count. I just went.
He was just counting photos in the hall of people he played with, and I'm getting up to 20, think I'm doing it good, and he's in the 40s, okay, with people he's working.
Yeah, but you were.
I was a guitar player. His guitar was. He was a gunslinger in town.
Well, I could. You were just doing more production and stuff. Where I could do more in a week than you were doing one album.
And you did.
Start to finish, and I was doing, 10 albums a week or whatever. I don't know what the count is. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I'll just say I played on a shitload of records, and I'll just leave it at that. You can look at various discographies, and depending on what site you want to look at. Some of the stuff. They had a guy yesterday in the hall that met us at the hotel with hundreds of records that were like vinyl records that we played on. And this guy collected signatures of all the people that played on them, whoever happened.
22,000 records, and he brought at least 50 records that I'd forgotten I'd played on. Okay, these are 50 albums.
We were cracking up going, I go, did I play on this? And he goes, point your name right there.
I lost track.
Yeah.
Well, just a couple more questions
Sure.
for you before we let you get on with your day. The business model of music record industry has obviously crumbled and
Well, you know what's funny? Let me just give you a quick little analogy. I mean, for some reason, the devaluing music, musicians, and songwriters and stuff, which is seemingly like, well, you're a musician, you made enough money. That was the whole thing. Like, I read this from bloggers and stuff, you made enough money and blah, blah, blah. You have to get with the new program, it's a new business. But yet, when the plumber comes over to my house and he hands me a bill for $500 to figure, and then he goes, there sees some music stuff. He goes, oh, hey, man, how about some free tickets to your free tickets? It's like, how do you think I pay for this stuff? How about some free plumbing? And there's silence. You know what I mean? There's silence. It's like, well, it's a job, man. We've developed a skill. All of a sudden, it's okay to steal it. Why is it okay to steal intellectual property? Yeah. Now, I understand. I mean, as it was when we jumped in the game, we were making less than 20%, and we had a great deal. Mostly, and now it's like they don't care. I mean, if everything was free, great. But if one guy sells advertising and walks away with $1 billion and pays nothing to the content holders, that's bullshit to me. Now, people will arm wrestle me verbally over this, and I've gone back and forth with some people that are actually pretty smart. But, it's something that you've written, that you own. Like, it's like somebody can't come and steal one of my kids and say, now this is my kid. Well, that music is like a child to us. I mean, we've developed it, nurtured it, and built a career over it. Why is it all of a sudden devalued now, today, and not 25 years ago?
Well, my question was, have you embraced the internet? Has it been a catalyst for more success, or is it?
Well, it happens. It levels out the playing field a little bit. It allows us to have a forum to say what's really on our mind and to advertise what we want to do without having a lot of money behind it. Here, you're still treated that same way. You know what I mean? You have YouTube. We have all the same tools to use that other people do out there. So there's good and bad with everything.
YouTube wouldn't be so bad. They should just get rid of the comments. I mean, the thing about the internet is like, if somebody puts something up without asking you, and say it's an unflattering thing of a bad night, you hit a bad note, or whatever it is, and people focus. Oh, look at it, 1 minute and 38 seconds. I mean, people are weird that way. And you ask them, hey, wait a second, that's me. Would you take that down? And they say, fuck you, I'm not going to take it down. And then you have to get legal with them. It's like, how does that work? I don't understand why I can't say, no, I want that down. Somebody tells me, no, screw you. I go, but that's me, that's my song, that's mine, and you have to go through this whole arm wrestle with it.
And we've been in this business around, so we see it from two different angles here. A lot of young people come up and they're just fascinated with all this because it gives people a chance to see their stuff. Yeah. And like I said, a lot of people aren't signed or don't have big budgets, and they see this as a way to get their stuff out there. I'm talking about not the professional person that's touring, the person that's just getting going in high school.
No, but see, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have that choice. If you wish to put things up and use it as a positive tool, that's great. You want to see some great old artists, black and white TV, some genius playing. Yeah. It's wonderful. It's a great tool to learn and all stuff. But if there's something like sucks, and everybody has that night, or you go like, okay, you beat me up enough now, and it's like people go, you're ugly, you suck, you fat, you're this,
Right.
It's like it's a forum for people who hate their own lives to hate you, and they've never even met you. I mean, that's not fair, is it? No, it's like bullying. Like if somebody did that to my kid, I'd kick their ass. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. He's very passionate about this.
I am.
He is.
Well, if you've had your ass whooped as many times as we have, you get a nervous tick. If you beat the dog enough, eventually it's going to bite you when he comes out.
If you're passionate about this, you should hear him on stage play guitar tonight.
Oh, yeah. I'll wait for that tonight. My last question to you guys is this. I spoke with Peter Frampton.
Oh, dear friend. I love Peter.
Great man. Not too long ago. And he basically voiced to me that Frampton continues as long as Peter Frampton wants it to continue.
Right.
Whether it's
he didn't speak in third person like that.
No, I didn't.
That would be awful. Well, Steve Lukather would never take that shit. No, I'm saying
you got to do it in the Ringo voice, though.
Oh no,
never mind. Sorry.
So basically, whether it's a studio or whether it's live, he allows it to continue as long as he's game.
I love this. So, I swear to God, I'd do it for. I mean, if they weren't paying me to do it, I mean, what else would I do with my life?
Right. So
we're musicians. We play music.
Exactly. Is there a day where you would say, okay, it's time to move on to something else? Though you've said there is really no end to
Well, we have that. We all do other things.
I think that we'll never stop playing music. you know, the levels of touring and as people get older and stuff, to get around and the touring wears on you a little bit. But we're still out here doing it. You know, we still have this passion doing it. So it's really hard to say, yes, I'm getting older, I'm going to stop. When I'm not stopping, I'm having more fun than ever right now. You know what I mean?
And you can plan it, like you say, okay, we're going to work for this certain period of time, and then we're going to take, other people can slow down, other people can jump on. I just go from tour to tour to tour and do things. I mean, I'm just that workaholic guy. Yeah. Some people need a little bit more time off, or they want to do other things, and we accommodate that so that we can. There are certain people that just go on the road and they play their hit songs every year, year in, year out. They don't do anything new, and they hate each other, and it's purely the Benjamins, Well, and that's not really the case, or I mean, it is a business, but you know what I mean. We like doing it.
We're going to keep doing it until we can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? And that probably will be never. Okay.
Well,
hopefully.
It's just, I mean, the passion's obvious. I mean, the friendships are obvious, and it's so great to have Toto back.
And we do love each other. I mean, that's for real. Yeah. People are amazed that they walk by our dressing room and they hear laughter coming out of it. After all these years, we still spend a lot of time, most of the time, laughing. And not very often do we disagree, but we do, like brothers do. But like if you fight with your brother, it doesn't mean you don't love him.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And we always end up with a hug, hugging each other, even after we piss each other off.
Dressing rooms are small, and they can get smaller if you're not all friends and don't have a sense of humor. I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
And he keeps us laughing. He keeps everybody laughing. He keeps these hallways laughing as we walk down the hallway. Okay, this guy here.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been...
Do I amuse you?
Am I funny? You're here to amuse me? No, I just said you were funny.
Am I a clown?
I just said you were funny.
Right.
Well, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
I can't tell you what an honor.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
And we want to wish you the best.
Please edit accordingly. I'm going to trust you.
And for everyone out there, again, my name is Randy Falsetta, and we'll see you on the next chat on the South Detroit Soundhouse.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Are we okay? Do we have to,
No, I'm fine.
Are we okay? Can
He's going like this to you, not me. Okay, re-edit then.
Yeah, re-edit.